Welcome to the Skagit County Track and Field Podcast. We're your one-stop shop for all things track and field in Skagit County, home of the longest-running track meet in the state of Washington. We are dedicated to promoting our schools, our athletes, and the incredible sport of track and field. From the heart of the Pacific Northwest, we bring you the latest news, interviews, and insights from the track. Join us as we celebrate the passion, dedication, and triumphs of our local athletes. The Skagit County Track and Field Podcast is back for Season 2, and hosts Jake Grantham and John Ely are fired up to bring you all the action. In this kickoff episode, we're setting the stage for what promises to be an exciting season. We'll be previewing upcoming episodes featuring in-depth interviews with both Skagit County coaches and coaches who led their teams to state championship glory in the 2024 season. Get ready for exclusive insights into training strategies, team dynamics, and the dedication it takes to reach the top. Plus, we'll take a look back at last year's thrilling Skagit County meet, reliving the top performances and highlighting the unforgettable moments. Join Jake and Johnny as they dive headfirst into the world of Skagit County track and field. All right, welcome to another season of the Skagit County Track and Field Podcast. A little bit shorter of a season this year, but I'm with my good buddy and co-host Jake. Jake, how you doing? You ready for another season of this bad boy?
Doing great, yeah, definitely. I'm excited, maybe to not do 16, but excited to do the ones that we have scheduled. So.
Well, and I'll just dive into kind of the format for this season. We're going to kind of recap the county meet from last year. That's what the bulk of this episode will be on. And then we have about 5 episodes where we talk to the county head coaches. And we also dive into some state championship team coaches. So we'll get to hear and kind of catch up on all the county coach and what they're doing in their off season. So I'm anxious for that. It'll be good to hear from them, and then also maybe spread this podcast a little bit more and learn the ways from some of these people that had success last year. So on tap for this season, we have the head coach for St. George's. They were the 2B state champs in both the boys and the girls meet. The head coach for Kings, which won the 1A girls. And then, of course, we'll have Brad on to talk about the 2A boys when we catch up with him. And it'll be good to hear his insight and be able to interview a county coach within the realms of all the other state champion coaches. We get to go to Walla Walla and visit with their head coach. They won the 3A girls state championship. We talked to Meade, who won the 3A boys, Emerald Ridge, who won the 4A girls. And then for our penultimate episode, I think we're going to talk to Jeff and Monica from Lakewood and talk to them about meet management, both running their Sunny and 70 invitational, and then also the district meet, and just kind of talk to them and pick their brain a little bit about running effective meets, because I think they do a great job with everything we've done down at Lakewood. We'll miss them this year as we make the jump to 3A. And then the final episode, which we hope is episode 8, Jake and I will be back on to talk about a county preview for 2025. So that's kind of the way the podcast is going to go, at least we hope, this season. And they'll kind of be 2-in-1 episodes, which we're excited about. So yeah, anything else from you, Jake, on that?
Nope. Excited to get started with it, and excited to talk to some of these coaches that have some state championships. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know we get kind of caught in our own county world, and I think we've got a great world that we live in with all the county coaches, and it was really cool last year to talk to some of the assistants as well, and get to know them a little bit better rather than just seeing them 2 or 3 times a year at meets. But I'm also anxious to branch out and visit some other programs. So should be a fun ride.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump into part 2 of episode 1, which is our recap of last year's Skagit County meet.
Yeah. So, what started this whole idea was kind of highlighting the longest running track meet, and I think we had year 116 for that. So pretty impressive, especially when we start taking a look at some of the records and past performances and stuff like that. But we had a great meet. Weather was okay. That April time is always interesting in terms of what it looks like, and obviously, depending on which school's hosting and what the weather looks like at that school, can make for some interesting times. But we were pretty fortunate. Mount Vernon did a good job hosting this year, so appreciated that, or last year. So yeah, just going over kind of scores real quick, and obviously you can get this stuff on athletic.net, but we just wanted to point out some things in terms of the points differentiations and stuff like that. So, and of course on the boys side, won with 184 points. First time since 2000 that they have won the county meet, so that is pretty impressive. And again, we'll talk when we talk about some of the individual event winners, and of course, is going to come up a lot on both sides. Cedar Woolley boys were second with 132, Mount Vernon third with 127. And I didn't look at the point variation from last year of Mount Vernon, but I thought their boys especially had a better meet this year and look to have some performances for next year. Burlington Edison 114, LaConner at 53, and Mount Vernon Christian at 45 on the boys side. So boys from Anacortes won by 52 points. That's one of the bigger point differentials. I think 2 years ago when we won, we had a pretty significant one as well. So, but a lot of points on their side. And then on the girls' side, Anacortes again. This third time in a row they won county, so they're starting to build up quite a streak at that particular point in time. I think when we talked to Kevin last year, it was interesting to get his feedback on the sort of long run that Burlington had as well. So it'll be interesting to see again with Anacortes how far they're going with that. Cedar Woolley second with 157 points. That's one of the best finishes for the girls program in a very long time. Mount Vernon third with 112. Burlington Edison with 95 and a half. Mount Vernon Christian with 61 points, and LaConner with 55 and a half. So those were the county scores. The girls won by 55 points. Anacortes girls team. And again, like I said, when we go through some of these individual ones, you're probably going to hear their name a lot, but 212 points, a lot of points. So that was, again, they not only won things, they won with a lot of depth. So pretty impressive performance by those teams. County records. So county records fell. Anacortes boys broke the 4x100 record. And then Nicholas Hoyer from Mount Vernon broke the 800 meter record. The girls from Mount Vernon broke the 4x2 and the 4x1 records this year. Funny enough, the 4x2 and 4x1 records have fallen the past two county meets. So we've finished second behind Mount Vernon in that 4x2, breaking our own school records. But they've broken the county record 2 years in a row in that. And then year before, we broke the county record for the 4x1, and then Mount Vernon came around this year and broke it again. So some speed going on there. And then the third girls relay, girls 4x4 broke a record, and that was our Cedar Woolley Cubs. So again, some fast times going around. Nothing in the field events this past year, and only that one distance record in the 800, but that was still a very impressive 800 meter performance there. So some cool things to look at in terms of those records that fallen. So I think now we want to kind of go over the individual winners from each event and kind of take a look at names of those and schools, and again highlight some repeats and some county records once again. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, I'll take the sprints and kind of looking at that. So 100 meters on the guys' side, Brady Beener won it. And you and I were kind of talking about the times overall, and Brady has gotten close to that county record, and will be coming back. We'll probably talk more about that in another episode. And then Parker Hallgren from Mount Vernon two-time. So she did it junior and senior year, getting the 100-meter record, and again, very close to the county record there. Uh, Brady followed up his 100-meter with a 200-meter win. So Brady Beaner from Anacortes won the 200 meters. Parker Hallgren, again, 200-meter winner from Mount Vernon. Again, two-time winner there, junior and senior year. So pretty impressive. In the 400-meter, we had Evan Forthen, who won it, and he's a sophomore. Again, pretty impressive time there. Kirsten Hendrickson from Cedro Woolley, again, two-time winner. So, and she'll be back as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that race folds out. The 110s on the guys' side, very impressive 3-year run for Tommy Murdoch as the county champion in the 110s. The only 3-time that we've had so far in the past couple of years. So that's going to be, and he's graduated and moved on. And then Amy Hansen from Anacortes, the 100 hurdle champion. And then in the 300-meter hurdles, again, Tommy Murdoch and a 3-year run for the LeConner hurdler. So very, very impressive by his performance in terms of that race. And then Logan Flau from Anacortes won the 300 hurdles. So Anacortes had, again, both the hurdle races, 2 different hurlers winning those particular sprints. So I think I'll hand it off to you for the relays.
Yeah, and you already kind of talked about the relays a little bit, but a great year for relays. Of the 5 relays that were competed, we had 4 county records fall. So just the boys 4x4 was the one that didn't. This is the boys side. Anacortes won. That team was made up of Schaefer, Parks, and both the Beaner brothers, and their time was 43:02. So new county record 43:02. Mount Vernon was second, and Cedroley was third. Um, and really, it wasn't that close. I mean, Mount Vernon's time was a 43.6, but Anacortes was kind of expected to win that one, and they took care of business. 4x4, Burlington Edison won that one with a time of 3:32.37. That was Jensen King, Ben Summers, Spencer Betts, and Evan Forthen again. Anacortes finished second in that. And that one was a tight race, if I remember right.
It was a very competitive race.
3:32.3 and then 3:32.8 for Anacortes. And then Mount Vernon came in third, a couple seconds back. On the girls' side, 4x2, county champs and county record holders now. Mount Vernon, they ran a 1:43.94. That was Chenault, Colbray, Pickering, and Halgren. Cedar Woolley was in second with a 1:44.9. So about a second difference there. And then Burlington Edison was third. And then 4x4, we had Cedar Woolley setting the county record with a time of 4:07.6. That was Farrah Lee, McKendra McCarty, Mallory Malone, and Kirsten Hendrickson. Anacortes was in second with a 4:09, and Burlington was in third with a 4:18.
Nice.
Okay, and then 4x1, we had Mount Vernon winning with a 49.81. That time was that was run by Nora Chenault, Elise Pickering, Colbray, and Halgren. So the exact same squad running in the 4x1 as the 4x2 for Mount Vernon. They're your county champs and county record holders. Cedar Woolley was very close behind at a 50.05 in second, and Burlington was in third at a 51.62. So we knew on the girls' side there were going to be some pretty competitive races. Both Mount Vernon, those squads went deep into state. Same thing with Cedar Woolley on the girls' side, and the guys' side with the Anacortes Seahawks in the 4x1. We knew 4x4 was kind of a toss-up, if I remember right, going in. We really didn't know what was going to happen there. So yeah, really competitive on the girls' side, and then I think the teams that were supposed to win on the guys' side ended up doing so.
Yeah, no, they were some really good races. I mean, and again, not to put anything out down about the 4x1 on the boys' side, just Anacortes was just running so fast.
Yeah,
But that 4x4. Both of those races were really competitive with those top teams there. So that was a really enjoyable finish to the track meet.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, talk a little bit about the distance. We talked about one of them already, which was Nicholas Foyer from Mount Vernon, who's now the county record holder for the 800 meters. And his time at that particular point, he ran in the final 154.96. And Dylan Rowell came in second. And I just want to highlight him because he's going to come up later and almost repeated. Um, and then on the girls' side for Anacortes, it was Mary Voger with a time of 2:22. And again, I'll highlight second place because almost repeat, and that was Kate Griggs with a 2:23. So Anacortes in those distance races, again, very competitive, very enjoyable to obviously watch, but the competition pretty high there. And then in the 1600 meters, it was a dominant performance by Anacortes with Dylan Rowell finishing with a time of 4:20. He was pushed very, very hard by Nicholas Hoyer, who also ran a 4:20.4. So it came down to tenths in that particular race. And then Kate Griggs got the 1600 meter champion with a 5:12 at that race, which again, in other invitationals and other county meets would probably be one of the fastest times they've seen. And she has a former teammate who actually holds the record in that 1600. And then in the 3200, again, Dylan Rowell won with a 9:21 from Anacortes. So again, he got two of the distance races. A little bit more breathing room with second coming in from Burlington Edison at 9:38, Caleb Hawkins. And then in the 3200, Kate also got it. So 16 and 32 for her as well with a 1:17. And then her teammate, Casey Limerick, came in with a 1:30 or 11:32. So again, some pretty competitive races. And just like I think we've seen with the sprints, the distance races have just been, if you go back even the first post-COVID meet, some of the times to make the finals, some of the people that made the finals for those races this year would not even would have won in those cases. And so to get a 154 again in April out of an 800 meter race is again very, very impressive for those times, and again 4:20 and things like that. So good distance races all around, but obviously Anacortes having three of the six there, obviously their program's pretty strong on that particular case. So
Yeah, and if you're looking at how they scored points in their victories and the team total, I mean, those are the events you're looking at. I mean, in the eight, the boys eight, they're kind of killing you with depth, even though they don't get the win. They go second, third, fourth. They win the 16 and also place fourth. And then they win the 32. And then on the girls' side, I mean, it's depth
yeah,
and
I
top end
mean
talent. One, two,
one, two,
three in the
three in
eight.
the 800. Yep.
Yeah. One, two, four in the
McKendra was
16.
able to slip in there third in the 16 and the 32 for Cedar Woolley, but yeah, otherwise
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
heavily.
impressive.
Yep. All right. I think you're going to talk field events.
Yeah, field events. We'll buzz through this. We're gonna go. I'll just go guys first, and then I'll cycle over to the girls. So we'll start with shot put, and we'll go through the throws here. So Mount Vernon goes 1 and 2 in the shot put, and actually only 3 teams make up the top 7 finishers. With Mount Vernon, Anacortes, and Cedar Woolley. But Quentin Gustafson won the shot put with a throw of 48 feet 2 inches. Um, and then in the disc, Mount Vernon wins that one as well. Adrian Carrillo threw 159 4 3/4. Jacob Huntley from Cedar Woolley was second, and Mount Vernon Christian cracked the top 3. And then in jav, we had Anacortes win. Ty Swap threw the jav 143.4, and then Mount Vernon Christian was second, and Mount Vernon was third there. Over to the girls' throws for shot put. Mashanti Brown from Cedar Woolley, I think this was her first meet of the year. She threw 33 feet 6 inches and beat out Madeline Ward from Anacortes. And then Mount Vernon was third in the girls' shot. In disc, it was pretty Anacortes heavy. Madeline Ward won the disc with a throw of 89 feet 2 inches. Brooklyn Deers from Cedar Woolley was second. And then Anacortes was third in the disc as well. And then finally, to round out the throws for the girls, Anacortes again with a win in the jav. Hannah Ferrario threw 111.10. Mount Vernon was in second, and then LeConner, Morgan Huizinga was third. So, um, yeah, I mean, Anacortes again performing well in all the throws. Mount Vernon came out and I wouldn't say surprised me, but scored a lot of points by winning two of the three. So, um, again, like you mentioned earlier, I think that helped Mount Vernon score a little bit better, and their depth sure seems to be on the rise. So they're scoring points there too.
Well, impressive performance by Adrian Carrillo too, to go two in shot put and one in discus. So that was shout out to him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, when we go to jumps, let's start with the guys. In the high jump, it was all Cedar Woolley and Anacortes. So those two schools made up the top seven finishers. Shane Whitehouse, Sugar Shane won the high jump with a jump of 6 feet from Cedar Woolley. And, I'd have to go back. I don't know when the last time we had a county champ well, actually, I probably do, from the kid from Burlington.
Mm-hmm.
Tino Ferdinand. I think he was way up over 6 feet, but it seemed like for a while there the high jump was pretty down on the guy's side, and it's now kind of come back up the last couple years, which is good to see. Zeke was second in the high jump for Anacortes. He jumped 5'10", and then Ethan DeYoung was third from Cedar Woolley. Looking at the pole vault, Alexander McKenzie from Burlington Edison won that with a vault of 12 feet 6 inches. Talon Upson from Cedar Woolley was second with 11 feet. And then Charlie Pearson from Burlington was actually tied for second with Talon, both at 11 feet. In the long jump, it was Brady Beaner. We had two guys go over 20 feet. Brady almost cracked into the 21s. He went 20 feet 11 inches. Sugar Shane Whitehouse was second with 20 feet 6.5 from Cedar Woolley. And then Jackson Silver from Mount Vernon Christian was third with a jump of 19 feet 6.5 inches. And then triple jump, it was kind of the Burlington Anacortes show. Zeke, who we talked about earlier in the high jump, won the triple with a jump of 42 feet 11 inches. I think that was his best jump of the year. And I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere, but he PR'd something huge. I remember
Yeah.
watching that happen. Jensen King from Burlington Edison was second with 40 feet 2 inch jump. And then Ty Swap from Anacortes was third with a jump of 39 feet 8 inches. On the girls' side, see, up to high jump, it was 1, 2, 3 for Anacortes. So again, another event that they just crushed other teams in and helped with their point total. Carmen Wara won it with a jump of 5 feet. She actually tied Reagan Hunt, but it was a judge's decision for second. And then Tegan Litke from Anacortes was third. So they go 1, 2, 3 in that. Vault, Evelyn Bradbury jumped 8 feet, and I believe this was Evelyn's second consecutive year of winning that event. Lainey Davis from Anacortes went 7 feet 6 inches, and then Burlington Dagny Sloan was third with a jump of 7.6 as well. Into the long jump, Kirsten Hendrickson, two-time county champ in the long jump. She went 16 feet 9 inches from Cedar Woolley. Burlington was second, Sydney Briggs. And then Mount Vernon Christian placed third. Josephine Swinburns, and then athletic.net cuts off, so I can't see her full last name. In triple jump, to break up some of the Anacortes, Cedar Woolley snuck in at third. Georgia Collins went 31 feet 10 inches, and second was Amy Hansen from Anacortes, way out 33.4.5, and then a really good jump from Reagan Hunt to win the county meet, 33 feet 9.5 inches.
Well, and I know on the pole vault side, I think the weather wasn't great that day, right?
Well, I remember Wednesday being a nice sunny day, and then vault now is switched to that Thursday in between prelim
Thursday,
and
yeah.
finals. And I do not remember. I was at practice, so I'm not sure. I don't remember the weather report on that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I think that was one of those. But
Yeah, I remember talking now that we were maybe going to move it to Friday instead. So I think you're right.
Yeah, and they were like tucked under. Yeah, they were. It was some rough conditions for that, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, looking at those as we're going through because we've got a lot of people returning, so it's going to be a very competitive field events as well. All right. So just looked at the individual winners of those and sort of cutting into some top performances and some people who were repeats, which is pretty impressive to see. We wanted to shout out some multi-event winners or who would consider kind of the MVPs of the meet in terms of the events that they were in, a part of, and scored points in. And I would say definitely on the guy's side, Brady Beaner won the 100, the 200, the long jump, and set a county record in the 4x1 with his teammates there on the guy's side. And then on the girls' side, Parker Hallgren, again, 100 and 200 winner, and then a part of the record holding 4x2 and 4x1 relays. So really impressive on those points. Some other multi-event winners.
Jake,
Tommy
before
Mark,
before you
about.
get
Oh
there, I
yeah, go ahead.
just want to point one quick thing out, and I know you could say this about a lot of the kids in our county, but Brady Beaner is a multi-sport athlete. He is a college football player. He'll be headed to, I believe, the Montana area next
Yeah,
year
yep.
to play some football. And then Parker, same thing, multi-sport athlete. And she is now running track at UCSB down in Santa Barbara. So again, those are some pretty dynamic, pretty darn good athletes, and they deserve all the credit for their performances. Four-time county champs is pretty cool.
Well, and like you said, it's great to see we've got some schools in our 2A district, where we've got some unbelievable track athletes, but a lot of them are just track athletes. And I think our county is a real good reflection of, like you said, multi-sport athletes who can perform well in the track. So great to shout them out as we kind of look at this. Some other multi-event winners, as we talked about, Tommy Murdoch, 100, 110 and 300-meter hurdles. He ended up continuing to run at nationals and did quite well in those. And again, he had to run the 110s. It's the college height, so adjusted well to that. Still ran pretty well in both of those races.
Well, and
Dylan Ruel.
you'd have to look pretty hard. I mean, Tommy might go down as one of the best hurdlers in the county.
Oh,
I mean,
I would
three-time
easily.
county champ in those. Um, Not to take anything away from Coach Wallace at Burlington,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Tommy's a stud, man.
Well, and again, not to take anything away from the competition, but I mean, he was winning by a lot. And I think we've
Mhm.
had years in the past where we've had some of our best hurdle performances, but it was really people getting pushed to the end. And again, won pretty dramatically in those races, and to go sub 15 and sub 40 again in April is impressive. So yeah, definitely for sure. And then Dylan Rowell, 1600 and 3200, as we talked about as well, sophomore. Should be interesting to see again how he did.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Kate,
say about him. I can't, a sophomore winning
yeah.
those two events is not an easy double as it is, but to have a sophomore do that, he's well on his way to having a pretty good career county-wise.
Well, again, three-peat, almost went three-peat with the 800.
Yeah.
And that race, again, both of those, Nicholas Hoyer and Dylan Rowell are coming back. So again, in terms of a competitive rate, those three distance races are going to be incredible to watch. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then we got Kate Griggs, again, 1600 and 3200. And I said before, she almost did the three-peat. Her teammate beat her out in the 800, but again, it was a very close race. And when we talk to Brad later on, it's always good to highlight Kate because she's I think hadn't had much of a track career up to her junior year last year, and had just an incredible cross country season, and then had an incredible track season. So she's coming back as well. And then Kirsten Henderson from Cedar Woolley went in the 400 and the long jump 2 years in a row. So, and uh, I think both cases had to either run a relay or run the 400 and then go hit the long jump. So she was taxed both of those times. I know we have a lot of athletes that are in that situation, but obviously because she's one of ours, we know
Hmm.
the pain that she had to go through for those performances. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was super proud of her. She had a really good county meet, and that's 2 years in a row, and that's kind of where we found out that she's the competitor that she is. So, and she's got another year too, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And she was part of that 4x4 that set the county record. So she was the anchor on that county record 4x4 team. So,
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think
all right.
last thing to get to is just some takeaways from this year. Another really good meet, and I will always remember the gesture from Jordan Sneva, the athletic director at Mount Vernon, um, presenting Linda Goodmanson with the Lifetime Achievement Award. A pretty special moment for her and for Mount Vernon Christian, and really cool to be a part of. So that's the one thing that I remember. I remember a lot of track things, but the one thing outside of track that I'll take away from 2024 was Linda's moment and how much we miss her in the county, but also how cool it was for her to be presented that award and hats off to Jordan for putting that together and getting her a plaque.
Yeah, no, that was a really special thing and a really special, you know, opportunity to highlight probably, I mean, one of, if not the most successful at the district and state level coaches that we've had in the county, and just obviously an incredible person, and just incredible like track. Loves track, loves talk track. Always looking for ways to improve when she was coaching, always looking for insights, but also providing that back to anybody who was wanting or looking for it. So shout out to Linda.
Cool. Well, anything else before we wrap this bad boy up?
Nope, looking forward to the season, and looking forward to season two with our episodes and getting to talk to some of these coaches from outside of our county and getting some insight from them. So,
Well said. All right. Well, happy to be on the journey with you again, Jake, and we'll see everybody else next episode.
all right, sounds good.